Can you tell me where is your family originally from?
Uderin ze nog het original.
Uzanerin.
Ze nog
My dad is Sasun, and my mama is Egbes, is a Turkey.
Okay.
Turkey aydalar
In
Egbes'e.
Turkey.
Yeah. Between Turkey and Syria, meşterine border Egbes'e.
Eybes is a border in between Turkey and
And
Syria.
Syria. And my mom
on the
from
border.
there.
Okay.
But Armenian, origin Armenian. Yeah.
How did your parents meet?
Hiç bestanut hatsan ze nog gedirar o desnevet.
Oh, they are often. My dad's from orphanage school, Chalabian
Orphanage.
orphan school, and they came Lebanon when 15, 16 year old. My dad, all the orphan young boys, they put in the families, Armenian families. That's ask it's
Yes, if you didn't get it.
No,
because
yes.
they haven't got the parents, but the Armenian families, they like adopt,
Adopting
you know.
them, yeah.
They start learning some arhistor veluhamar,
Yeah.
the Protsenilan. And my mama was orphan, but she was living with her big sister, big brother. They meet each other. I don't know how they meet, but they married.
Yes.
So they were orphaned from the genocide.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
And
both
then
of them.
came to
both
Lebanon.
of them. I think my mom was 3 years old when the genocide.
Yeah.
So they grow half of orphanage school, and after she's the youngest one in the family, she go to big sister. She married. She have children. She go to sister.
Live with her.
Yeah,
In
with her.
Lebanon.
In Aleppo.
In
In
Aleppo.
Aleppo.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any stories that your parents told you about experiencing the genocide or the orphanage or growing up?
Because they are in the orphanage school, they didn't see anything. They are
were
very
too
young,
young.
too young. But my mom was telling, because my dad is passed away very quick. I'm not remember my dad. And my mom was saying, my dad always thinking about the orphanage school. That's why, I don't know, Hıstak pamma çiga, çena sat, miena sat, and was tijwarut yamp antan aidorerin.
I think they don't remember exactly because they were too young at that age, but they remember the difficult days that they had it in the orphanage as growing up as an orphan child and not having parents around. So that was more influence in their life rather than the genocide maybe.
Growing
Yeah.
up as orphans.
And the Armenian community, most churches, they decide to get together this Armenian, often girls and boys, to marry together. Yeah, it ain't organized in Arachnov Tarana.
So the matchmaking was mainly with the Armenian Apostolic Church, the diocese office. So they tried to bring the young ones and matchmaking them to get married and make an Armenian families. So yeah.
And this was in Lebanon?
Lebanon.
Okay.
Yes.
And Lebanon, yeah.
Lebanon. Did you grow up speaking Armenian in the house?
Երբ որ մեծակ հայերեն գխոսեիք դունի մեջը,
Of course, yes.
yeah.
All around us was Armenian.
Armenian.
There is a Lebanese too, but this Lebanese people was talking Armenian with us. as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So your
Because
neighborhood
most
was...
Armenians, that area, that suburb, most Armenians. That's why even Lebanese people talking Armenian with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like an Armenian neighborhood. All your
Yeah,
neighbors were
yeah,
Armenian.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's why we kept our language, we kept our church, community, everything we did. Thanks God, with the God, of course.
Amen.
And how would you describe like the town you grew up in? Like what did it look like? Where like could you describe like what it was like to grow up there?
Գնաս փածադրել գսե որ ուր որ մեծար
Ha.
քեզը համար ինչպես էր դպավորությունը թաղամասին համած շրջանին
Was simple, very simple. We used learn that area. We was very happy because all around is Armenians, shops, chemists, schools, everywhere. So we haven't any difficulty there. Yeah.
I think the feeling of safe and being surrounded with Armenians like why so they were feeling more comfortable and they were happy because they did manage working and being surrounded with the love of the neighbors. But they didn't have much family. Ureir mokuruneir.
Ha, unegi mokurner. Amen, not even
Yeah. So she did have her aunties, but
Yeah.
more concentrated with their family as a siblings together, living together.
We lost our parents, but we are together,
Yeah,
family.
they
My
stayed.
sister, my brother, we are together. We never left anyone out.
Yeah.
All
All
together.
five together, they lived. Yeah.
And we was
Until
working.
they got married and
We was working very hard,
hard.
but
Yes.
we was living very good.
When was it that your siblings like how did they all grow up and when did they get married and where do they live now?
Yeah, yep, I'm not so.
Այո, սիբլինգները, քույրերդ, եղբայրներդ,
Yeah.
ինչպես մեծան,
Yeah.
հիմա ուր են
Yeah.
եւ
So my two brothers that time, because when we lost our parents, me and my big sister, we were sewing, the others one was school. But my younger sister, she's go to the nuns school, Catholic school, and my two brothers, they gone, we calling Anjar in Beirut.
which is again an orphanage in Anjar.
Yeah.
Like it is a day school,
Yeah,
but they have an orphanage like dorm.
boarding school, like
Boarding
a
school,
boarding
yeah.
school. 2 years we sent them because I was working with my sister. It's very hard to keep the boys as well. So 2 years we give
Sent them.
we put that, and after 2 years, straight away we get home because we are very close each other, very very close. Because our parents gone, my this sister, just like a bird, how take the Judy,
During her wings.
just
Yeah.
like. So we work hard, but we live very very good time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
happy. But where they are now, Uren Hima,
When
siblings,
all here now, everyone here.
in Australia.
Only my big sister passed away, and the second is mine. My sister here, my two brothers here. They are very good.
Condition.
Yeah,
Good. I'm
Very
happy to
good,
hear
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And did you all move at the same time to Sydney or
no,
different
I
times?
came first
You came first.
with my husband. I married in Lebanon. After 3 years, exactly, I have a daughter in Lebanon. She was nearly 3-year-old. We came Australia, but my husband came before me. He came 9 months before me because he don't know anyone here. He said, "How take I family with me because he's coming. He don't know where he's coming, you know. But after 9 months, he sent me all my paperwork and money. Every 3 months, he was sending me money. But the man, I have a uncle. He said to me when my husband came Australia, I was in Lebanon yet. He said, forget your husband. He's going Australia. He married with Australian girl. Girl is forgive you. I said, don't tell me like that. My husband not that man. He's a good man. And when my husband start send me money, my ticket, everything, I go to him straight. I said, Uncle, look, my husband sent me money and my ticket, my everything.
And I'm going.
This is a laughing thing.
And what made him decide on Sydney? Because I know a lot of people in Beirut like ended up coming to the U.S. or going in the Middle
Australia.
East.
Oh, he was thinking always Australia, my husband. He said the America because İrdega hasade.
Okay.
Asin oraya gire.
Okay. Australia is a new country at that time. Like it wasn't that much known for the world, but America is already established big country. So he thought there will be more opportunities in Australia than somewhere else.
Yeah. And more Christian. Yeah.
And so you both came to Australia and then your siblings followed.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And what did your husband do for work?
Well, just in the factory he was working. And when I came, after 5 years, we start our business. We have a shop at the city, very close to the central station, sandwich shop we have. So we worked there 5 years with my husband, and because my kids were too small, but my sister was looking for them. So I work with my husband 5 days a week. At the weekend, we are home with my kids. After we sold the business, so we are all right after that, because we bought the house at the Willoughby suburb, not here. That time my husband said, if we buy house, because to pay the rent, it's very hard here. And owner always telling us 3 months, 6 months you go out. My husband hate that. That's why he said, we have to buy our home. So no one can take
Us out.
go out. So that's why we had still then I start working at home. I was sewing, making alteration. Yeah.
Okay, so you were having the home business of like doing
Yes,
alterations.
yes.
Okay, very cool. Using the skills that you had in Lebanon that you learned with your sister.
Այսինքն քու կարողությունները որ լիփանան սորվեր էիր, ադիգա սկսար կորցածել։
Yes.
Very cool. Okay, so we're gonna move into. I want to talk a little bit about like your family, so your relatives. You talked about how many brothers and sisters you have, and growing up, did you have any other relatives like Mokurs, Hokurs?
Here,
That came here.
here no Mokur, everyone Lebanon. Here always my husband, me, and Modik Askagan, no, my sister. That's
Just the siblings when they came.
after 5-6 years later start coming more people from Lebanon, more friends or relatives start coming. So our family start growing that time. You know? Yeah.
So your question was in Australia if she has anyone as a family. Yeah. So yeah.
And did you still have many like relatives in Lebanon before you came that you left behind?
Yeah. My aunt is there, my uncle there, my cousins, all was in Lebanon that time. And they telling us to my husband, you stupid, you going Australia. The Lebanon is the best place to live. My husband said, no, I am going to Australia.
He did well.
Yes. How about any friends? Do you remember any childhood friends that you had
Մագութենետ բարեկամներ։
In Lebanon.
in Lebanon?
Yeah, I remember, but everyone gone the other cities. Some went to Canada, some went to America, so we didn't see each other yet. Never see. But we contact sometimes, we talk. Some passed away, some are still alive. Yeah.
And how do you get in touch with them when you when they moved?
Oh, with the phone. Yeah.
Did you keep in touch while you were moving to Australia, like all throughout, or was it like they reconnected later in life?
Okay, երբ որ եկար գաբը բահեցիր հետերնին, ոչ է շրջանը գդրվեցավ վեր չետ կդար իրենց։
Սկիզբը բահեցինք, հետո գործընթացինք։
For a period of time at the beginning, yes, they were connected, but it came a time that they lost the connection. And think that was in 1960s. So there was the communication was letters, sending post office, and not much phone calls. So that's how they lost the connection in between. Yeah.
And meanwhile, when I was with second daughter, the first one was 3-year-old when we came, and second one I have. Just she born, was 2 months, 1 month. My husband left Sydney. He's gone to a snowy mountain to working. Snowy mountain.
Like it's in
After
Australia.
Canberra.
It is in Australia, but it's a bit far, different state. So she's saying that when she had her second daughter, so 2 young kids with her, the husband was working
Snowy mountain.
in far.
And that was
he used
after
to
you sold the sandwich shop?
No.
Or before?
Before.
The
Okay.
factory that
Yeah.
he was working in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's coming every 3 months. He's coming all weekend coming to see children to me, and he go back because they work in Snowy Mountain 7 days a week. So he said, I go there to save money to buy the house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the Sydney, we can't do that, he said. So I decide for that, and I start sewing. I can manage myself. He kept all his earned money to make deposit. After 2 years, he come back, and we bought the house.
Okay.
We talked about the Armenian community in Beirut. How about when you came to Sydney? Was it easy to connect with Armenians here? Or were you like one of the first?
Yeah, because they come just like me. When I came, I asked the friends, when you came, she said 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So all the same year we came, and they make the community here. Oknutian Khach, Armenian Relief Society.
Oh,
They
okay.
start. Yeah. In the city, someplace they rented. So once a month or every 2 months once, we going there, we meet each other, we talk from our countries or here, yeah.
So the Armenian Relief Society was how you all came together.
Yes.
Wow. Were there any other organizations?
Այդ դեն ուրիշ միություններ կար.
Եկեղեցին
It was
կար,
mainly the
The
church.
church, just
And
the
it was the
church.
apostolic church.
Huh? Apostolic church.
Apostolic church.
Just the apostolic church was city as well, Campbell Street, that time. Now in the Chatswood, but that time was Campbell Street in city. So every Sunday, very nice organization. The young boys, they've got the car, they come pick the little children.
As a Sunday school.
Sunday school.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they had like Armenian Sunday school.
was not that much traffic that time, you know. So when they start growing, they took the Chatswood Church. They start everything in Chatswood.
So the Armenian community was establishing in Sydney mainly in 1960s, early 1960s. So when they came, they were, you would say, one of the families, early families that they came to Sydney.
So you were one of the first, like,
One
few.
of the first
Wow.
few ones, yeah. Araçinlerin
Yeah.
So you've seen the church grow throughout the last many
Or
decades.
the Armenian community.
And the Armenian community. Wow. Wow.
Ինչպես հիմա որ դու նավիդարական եկեղեցի ես եւ այդ ադեն նավիդարական է, ադի ինչպես սկսա. So the evangelical church, because at the time that they came, her husband is Armenian from an Armenian evangelical community in Lebanon and Syria. So when they came as Armenian community, they were with the church and all, but how the Armenian evangelical church started. The Armenian evangelical community started getting. So that's what I was asking for her to share with you.
Yes.
Because
please.
now we do have Armenian Catholic Church, Armenian Apostolic Church, and Armenian Evangelical Church. Yeah. So as in Sydney, we have these three denominations.
Okay.
So and her husband was one of the first establisher, the founder of the, not the founder, but a starter of the Armenian Evangelical Church in Sydney.
Wow.
In Sydney,
Wow.
My husband in the community was to make a church. Yeah.
So he was like a founding member of the church.
Member of the church in Sydney, because he was a member in Armenian Evangelical First Church in Lebanon.
In Lebanon.
In Beirut, if you go to the
What's the name?
Union, so it's Hay Abidanagan Araçin Yegeretsi, the first Armenian Evangelical Church. The name is like that, but it wasn't the first in Lebanon. The Marash was earlier, but so it's in. So he used to be a member there, and her husband, uncle, was from Syria, Kesab. So his main church was Kesab.
Yes.
Kesab'i եկեղեցի անդամեր ոչ է
Ayo,
Kürküne. Kürküne. In Kesab Kürküne, he was from that community, the evangelical community. They still have that church in Kürküne, Kesab. So Kesab is part of Syria, and Kürküne is in a small village in Kesab.
But all Armenian. All Armenian village.
So they established the church in 1966. Hos,
Ayo.
1966. They started coming together, and they were around maybe 10.
10,
less
12
than 10
people maybe.
And started a small church, and now we have the grown up.
Now the Armenians came, more relatives came, start growing.
And that was how it grew.
I
see.
So coming back to you.
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up. And then my other question is like, was there any challenges, especially having him like being part of the evangelical church, or just in general,
with
like
the
growing
churches,
the community?
No, not with the churches.
Կարծեմ որ հավանաբար դպրոցներու բաններ, բզիկները հայ բահելու, հայաբահբանումը։
Անիկ մինչև Campbell Street կերտային այն ադենիշտը։
So the challenges, I think, for them is to survive in Australia, as in survive in it, and to keep their young ones, the new generation,
to keep the language, to keep the Armenian language.
I think
because
that was
they
the challenge.
forgot very quick. So that's why in the Sunday, as a Sunday school, but they learn Armenian language as well. This is they making Campbell Street City. So all the young men come in, they who have the car, they come to pick from my house, they pick my daughter from the other families, they another boy or girl with the small car, they
Drive
take
them.
to the city, that's a school to learn Armenian language and the Christian
Faith.
faith too. So they going every Sunday, this one, that time. But after when the people come more, start growing, they start making in the Willoughby, in the public school. But we have the Saturday school in the public school. Government give it to us on Saturday, so we use that public school for Armenian school.
Students.
And that's how the Armenian schools got started.
And teachers, and everyone was voluntary. No one taking any money. Because all come immigrant new, they can't afford to give. And thanks God for the teachers, everyone voluntary worked. Many years they were very, very good educate they give for the children. Even my two girls especially, they went at Armenian Saturday school.
And how many students would you say were in the Saturday
time.
school?
At that time.
50, 60 maybe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they would teach like Armenian language and Christian faith.
Yeah.
At the
Because
Armenian
most
language, culture, and the faith.
Most Armenians were around the Willoughby, Artarmon, Chatswood, most there. There is another Armenian school they make in the Kabramata.
Which is a bit more
far.
west.
Bit
West
far.
Sydney.
They make over there as well because too many families was there too. Because their houses is more cheaper. If you buy the house in the Willoughby 15,000, you pay 5,000 at the Kabramata. So some people decide to live there. But thanks God, all come now good,
In a good position.
grown-in people, married. They all married their children now. They have even grandchildren they've got.
Yes. So the generation. So the Armenian community in Sydney started with the schools as a Saturday school, and later now the AGBU is celebrating the 35th, and the Hamaskain is celebrating the 36th. So 36 years earlier, it was only Saturday schools. But today, we have everyday schools.
Yeah.
And we do still have Saturday schools.
Yeah.
And we have, as she said, the government provided at that time it's a Chatswood Girls Public School. They provided a space to them to have it. Until today, we still have that. The government provides, and also government provides a secondary Armenian Saturday school for students who go from the primary years finishes at year 6, so when they go to year 7 and they are not in Armenian school, they can still continue as one of their subject the Armenian language. All the culture. So they go to Armenian Saturday school, which is public, belongs to the government. And it is based in Chatswood Public School.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
Wow. So you were really there to see the start and then now how it's
Now
grown.
My big granddaughter, she's 35 now. So when she born here, but she go that school as well, Saturday school.
In the West.
Yeah, and they give the exam to the government.
Yes.
And Armenian, they always Chalabian was Sorvin Hayerena.
Who?
Government.
The government always encouraged the language. So the Armenian language now, it's part of the HSC.
Oh.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
what is saying that her daughter and my girls,
Yeah.
one of their subjects in their HSC is the high school
Yeah.
time is
There
the
is
Armenian.
a mark. They have a mark
So,
as well.
yeah, if
Wow.
you want, you can choose one of your subject as the language.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is still, so that's what's saying the Australian government always encourage the culture and encourage
Yeah,
the
yeah.
language. Yes.
That's very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. That they were so supportive and to give like the community space as well.
Yes.
I bet that was a big help. Is it mostly Western Armenian, the curriculum?
I would say ավելիով արևմտահայերեն ոչ թե հայաստանցի գա.
Չէ, մեր
So
մեր
it's more Western
yeah.
արևմտահայեր like,
Ah.
rather than Armenians from Armenia. We do have a community,
Yeah.
but if you will look for the bigger picture, I would say maybe 70 by 30%.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Armenian comes, the West Armenian comes from Egypt, mainly Lebanon, Syria,
Persia,
Per-
Baskastan,
Iran,
Iran,
and also Bolis, Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
So, but we do have again a small, not we cannot say small, but when you say 100% of Armenians, I would say 65, 70 Arab Madahai, and the rest are Arab Ilahai. So,
In
yeah,
Sydney.
in Sydney. Yeah.
Do you feel that, would you say like generally the Armenian community in Sydney is like very unified, or are there any sort of divisions in the community?
Ամբողջ հայ քաղուտը Սիդնեի մեջ միասնական է, ոչ թե բաժանմունքներ կա։
Well, առանց բանի բաժանումներ կան, բայց իրարու հետ միշտ հարաբերության մեջ են։
Yeah.
Գրիվ, այսինքն բան չի գա, իրարու հագարակություն չի գա։
So there is no issues being against each other, but there are different, like when I say three denominations, they work separately. But when it comes to the unity as an Armenian people in Australia, they come as united.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we celebrate let's say the Armenian genocide, which is the April 24th. All the three churches plus what do you say, reliefs, like we have Hınçak, Taşnak, Ramgavar, this.
All coming
so they
together.
all come together.
Yeah.
So
Especially around the genocide remembrance.
Yes.
as a common union, yes, they are, but they work individually.
Yes.
As I said before, like HBU, they do have their school, Saturday school, they have their everyday school. Hamaskain, they have their everyday school, Saturday schools. So they operate in separately, but when it comes to the unifying, they are. Yeah.
Are there any other like holidays or certain occasions that bring everyone together?
Mainly it's the April 24. Ուրիշ ինչ արիտներ կա, որ
Միասնան են։
հայկավուտը միասնական կա։
April 24.
Or if there,
many things.
or if there is any, they come from overseas. Let's say, like what you say, the
Middle East more.
no, like if a guest comes from overseas,
Oh yeah.
like a big person who's coming, they all unified.
Yeah.
And one more thing which they work also together, and they do have a community, is the hymnatram.
Hymnatram.
Hymnatram. I have to find the English. The hymnatram group is started when the earthquake happened in Armenia. So they established that committee from every denomination, every organization come together. Till today, they have one yearly program, like event, to collect the fundraising and to send it to Armenia.
Yeah.
So from that day, the earthquake irritated that and made the urgency.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that they work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so like relief efforts,
Yes.
humanitarian. Was there anything surrounding like what happened in Artsakh, like relief efforts or?
Yes, it's always, they are active. They are always active. All the community, as I said, churches comes together, the organizations, they all come together and they work towards that goal. And they, yes, individually they do it, like the evangelical church, but sometimes it's in different, when I said, I was talking about the AGBU, the Armenian Missionary Association. So Armenian Missionary Association is the association that belongs to the evangelical church. So we helped, let's say, Armenia through that, also through the Himnatram. So it just depends what's the cause, what's happening, and they work towards that. Yeah.
So we talked a lot throughout about how you found Armenian community everywhere and even growing up, like always being surrounded by Armenians. So when you came to Sydney, was it ever like difficult to adjust to being in a place where there weren't as many Armenians, or like how would you describe your interactions with non-Armenians?
Երբ որ Ավստրալիա եկար, գտնալով որ թունավելի հայերու հետ ապրած էր եւ իրար հոս քիչ էր եւ ստիպված ես օդարներու հետ ապրիլ, ադիգա դժվարություն ունեցավ կամ ինչպես կրցալ լուծվի, այսին խառնվել աստեղի ժողովրդին հետ.
Never problem, never, because I tell you, Australian people, very nice people, very welcome people. When I came with my daughter and I was at home, everyone going work, I will be home. My next door, I don't know, speak English with them, but they are very nice people. They coming always to me, they helping. When they saw I am making dress, making sewing, they start bringing customers for me. Very, very nice people, Australian people. Really, they help us very much.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been a very supportive community.
Yes,
even with the government, the neighborhood.
Even 10 years I am here now, my next door neighbor, really Aussie people, Australian. How nice people. How I can, like an angel. I call them angel, my angel neighbors.
That's so sweet.
I give my door key for them. When I go somewhere, her house or somewhere, if I come a bit late, she's coming here, open the door, coming, put my blind down, put my light on. That much angel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They help each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yeah, really, very, very nice Australian people.
Maybe you could tell me a little bit more about your children and like how was it with them growing up in Australia, and did they go to Armenian schools in Australia? Like tell me about your daughters.
They like to go Armenian school every Saturday, especially my husband with
Strict.
my girls, they're not talking, but my son, he was 5 years maybe that time. Every Saturday has to go Armenian school. One day he said to me, I don't want to be Armenian. Why all my friends playing outside with the bike, and I have to go Armenian school? And my husband said, you have to go. You have to go. Don't talk like that. You have to go because you're Armenian. Now he's very appreciate to learn the good Armenian. Now he talk with me. He like something writing. He write Armenian letter for me.
Yes.
So all your children, they can speak Armenian and they
Yes.
learned it
Yes.
growing up. Mm.
And their children's too.
Yeah.
And their children's too.
They
Okay.
Yeah.
What do they do for work in Australia? Your children?
Zabakները
Zab-
դիչ։
My daughter, big daughter, and her husband have a jewelry shop. They're working. He's Armenian as well, but he came from the Iraq.
Իրաք։
Iraq, yeah. My second daughter, she born here in Australia, and she live next street. She's a.
Okay, she does too many different things.
Yeah,
So her first daughter, she helps her husband with the business,
yeah.
and her husband is a really good jewelry maker. When we say jewelry, gold, and they are a well-known or
Yeah, in the
established,
magazine, yeah.
one Berjani.
Berjani.
So it is the initial of their names, Berj and Ani. So the name of the business is Berjani. So they are a well-known, established jewelry maker, and he makes designing.
Design. He's a
So
designer.
that's the-
Yeah.
But the second daughter, now she's somehow like a radio speaker, or what do you say?
Like a radio host?
Radio host.
Yeah.
That's her latest job.
Wow.
Yeah. And her husband is accountant,
Yeah.
and he is from Viken
He born in London,
London.
but
Okay.
his parents from Iraq.
Okay. So his parents, and her son, he's a lawyer.
Yeah,
So yes,
yes, nearly finished.
nearly, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And did they all go to school in Australia?
Yeah.
Saturday school.
Saturday school. How
Yeah,
about
yeah.
like university or?
Yes.
Sydney Uni.
Okay.
My granddaughter Sydney Uni, Leah,
Զավակները կսեգոր,
in Zavatneres.
հա, Ռոզիգը եւ Անին University.
Me and
Not the
high
girls?
schooler in.
The girls only graduated high school,
school.
but the boy, he graduated
Law.
here,
Law.
and their children now, I think only one left is still in, no.
Leah, Noah.
No one abechachos.
Yeah.
So all of them are in uni.
Uni.
Wow.
Graduated or still studying in
And
uni.
Rozigin Dagana,
All-
lawyer of
Oh,
Verchatov,
yes.
about that.
So all the grandchildren, she has 3, 6, 3, 9.
Nine.
Nine
Wow.
grandchildren.
Grandchildren, three grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
Wow.
So yeah. So
Wow.
they
So
are
lots of kids all around.
all around. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about like your hopes for the future and where you
Ապա
see
քայ համար հույսերդ ուր կդեսնաս Australia-ի հայերը,
like
Sydney-ի
what
հայերը։
are where do you see it going and what do you hope for the community in Australia?
I don't know. If you say our future have to be in Armenia, but they all grown up here, all born here, my grandchildren. They like to go visit Armenia, but they don't want to live there. They live here. They said we keep we keep our language, we keep everything, but we prefer to stay here,
In Australia.
Australia.
So ինչ է փափակդ իրենց համար,
Իրենց համար։
ինչ
Իրենց ուզածը պիտի լա։
ինչ կհուսաս
Կհուսամ, որ նախ քրիստոնեական կյանքը ունենան,
to
հոգևոր։
live the Christian faith, to
Եվ
live their
իրենց-
Christian
yeah,
faith,
Եվ լեզունին բահեն։
and keep the Armenian language. That's the hope for the new
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
That's what she hopes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hayır,
conversation هذا بيروتنا. Interview.
Thank you.
I hope it helped you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish you the best in your life. Be strong in your job. Be
she wishes all the best for you and the success in your life and your work.
Thank you.
Babayın doğmaya hayır.
Yeah.